So I'm gonna briefly explain variable types here, because you have to know in order to use SPSS. Broadly, you have two big variable types. One, categorical, second, continuous. And each variable, categorical, continuous, include additional types of variable. So categorical variable, it has nominal, dichotomous, ordinal. So let's focus on nominal first. So here you can see these questions and answer. That's the examples of nominal variable. So nominal variables have two or more categories. And nominal variables do not have any like in strict order. It's just name, label, right? So first question, what type of property are you interested in? The answer is a house or an apartment or a bungalow, right? So your nominal variable is type of property, right? And your category will be house, apartment, bungalow, right? This is just name. There's no order, right? You can see. So this is example of nominal variables. So I have another example question. So what is your gender? So the answer will be I'm female, or I'm male, or I'm bisexual, or I'm transsexual, right? So your nominal variable is gender, and your categories will be male, female, bisexual, or transsexual. So it doesn't have any order, right? Just name, female, male, bisexual, transsexual. That's the example of nominal variables. Okay, so I'm gonna move on to dichotomous because these two are really similar. So dichotomous variables are nominal variable. So they are same, but one different thing is dichotomous variables only have just two categories. So nominal, it has 3, 4, 5, it's up to you. But for dichotomous, it has to be like two categories. This is really similar, but different. So third question, are you male or female? Previously for nominal variable, your question was, what is your gender? And you have like 4 categories, right? But here you have only 2 categories, whether you're male or female. That's the example of dichotomous variable. Okay, so I have another two more examples. What is your employment status? You can answer either I am employed or I'm unemployed, right? 2 options, 2 categories only, right? That's the dichotomous variable. Another example, do you like watching TV? Yes or no? Another 2 options, right? So that's dichotomous. Okay, let's move on, ordinal. So that is a little different. So just like nominal variable, ordinal variables have 2 or more categories. However, there is order, ranked, right? There is a levels, high level, low level, medium level. So the first example, to what extent do you agree or disagree with the following statement? Going to university is important to get a good job. So it is 5-point Likert scales. 1, strongly agree. 2, agree. 3, neither agree, no, disagree. 4, disagree. 5, strongly disagree, right? So there is an order, right? Ranked. 1 is lowest. 5 is highest. That's different from nominal, because nominal, there is no ranked. There's no order, but for ordinal variable, there is order. Okay, so do you like watching TV? So for ordinal variable, like most of time, I love watching TV, sometimes or heartily. So there is another like options, 3 options, but there is ranked order, right? So that's example of ordinal variable. Okay, so let's move on to continuous variable. So far, we talked about categorical, right? Now we're going to talk about continuous variable. So continuous variable, we have, it could be classified into interval and ratio. So first, interval. So here, interval variables have numerical value and can be measured along continuum. So the difference between categorical, continuous variable, there's continuum. You know, it's not order, not a ranked, continuum, right? So the example is temperature. So measure in degrees of Celsius of Fahrenheit. However, temperature measured in degrees Celsius or Fahrenheit is not a ratio variable. We're gonna talk about it shortly. This is because temperature measured in degrees Celsius or Fahrenheit is not a ratio variable because 0 does not mean there is no temperature. So the difference between interval ratio is whether it includes 0. Okay, so here, temperature 0 does not mean there is no temperature. So here is ratio variable. So ratio variables and interval variables are mid and additional condition. So measurement value of 0 must mean that there is none of that variable. That's the ratio variable. Okay, so for example, distance. If two houses are joined together, the distance between the adjoining walls is 0. There is no distance whatsoever. On the other hand, a distance of 10 meters between the houses would be twice the distance of the 5-meter gap between the houses. A distance of 10 meters is twice the distance of 5 meters. So yeah, it counts 0. So measurement value of 0 must mean that there is none of that variable. That's different from ratio versus interval. Okay, so going back to our SPSS. As I mentioned, SPSS does not discriminate between interval and ratio data because it's tricky. So we call interval ratio as scale in SPSS. So if variable is either interval, ratio, choose scale. Okay, and you can see there is an ordinal variable and nominal